Welcome to the witching hour, the hour of the day when the veil is thin and magic happens. We have some beautiful magic for you today. Some redheaded magic for you today. She is a screenwriter. She's a novelist. She's a researcher. She's a presenter. She's a practicing witch. And best of all to me, a dear friend. Welcome back, Scarlett Amaris.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much for coming. Again, you have so many things I love because in my weird witchy and paranormal world, I mix horror kind of things with occult, my occult and witchy. And you do that to the nth degree, working into the Hollywood way and films and movies and horror movies. How did that come about? Did the witch come first or the horror come first, or were they all squished together?
I think they're all stitched together. Like I was one of those weird, creepy kids. Like some of my earliest memories are making spells, like making, I grew up on a horse ranch, like by myself. So it's by myself a lot. And, I would be like, oh, my toy horse needs a protection spell of whatever, like I'm 3 or 4 years old and I'm like grabbing stones and sticks and like making, little pentagrams, not even knowing what a pentagram is. And so like I was that kid, but I always really loved horror. And especially as I started to go into my teenage years and I discovered Peter Straub and I discovered Stephen King and Italian horror movies, like I just couldn't look back from that. And I love like I loved the paranormal as well. Like I love psychological horror and I love supernatural horror. And the supernatural horror is really and what did for me.
Oh, that is good. And again, and it doesn't conflict. It works very hand in hand with you. Because you are more than just the witch next door. You are a researcher. You are a scholarly. You're very academic in your work and your teaching and all that, which that's why I want to travel with. You do have I got the last of the movie thing. I just want to tell everybody, if you like Nicolas Cage and you like spooky and you like otherworldly, check out her film. It's called The Color of Space.
Color Out of Space.
Color
Yeah.
Out of Space.
It's based on a H.P. Lovecraft short story. But yeah, it came out a few years ago and did pretty well. And hopefully you'll be seeing I have 2 movies that are out to cast right now. So hopefully you'll be seeing something soon.
That is good. Can't wait. Again, we did The Color Out of Space on the Movie Coven. For all of you who come to our movie coven, she was a guest on that show. She's one of our regular, much adored guests on Witches Movie Coven on Wednesdays. But you do have a program coming up because, again, I know, like me, you really are a teacher at art and a lecturer of art in so many ways. So what is this new program you're doing?
So I am doing another mythological series. Like I really love the mythology of witchcraft, and I've taught, the modern history of witchcraft. I've taught a lot of mythology and witchcraft, but it's just really where my interest lies. So I'm doing this new series, which is a continuation of a series that I started years ago. But the new one is called the Queens of Shadow and Sovereignty. And it is a continuation for people who have studied with me before of the Deities and the Details, into the Queens of Darkness, and the Forbidden Pantheon. And so it's really like breaking down kind of these really old archetypes and discovering all that we can about these goddesses and bringing them into the modern age. What's really fascinating is that every time I do this, I always have a little bit of different focus. So last time I did it, it was a little more like the pop culture rock and roll kind of thing and like how they're portrayed in the media today. But this time as I'm going through it, it's this idea of sovereignty that's really interesting to me and getting more into the deep psychological work of it and really like delving into these archetypes in healing and total kind of way. So like the first of the series is on Hecate, and we know that Hecate, was given 3 realms by Zeus. She has the heavens, she has the earth, she has the underworld, or in some different books it says that she has the oceans. But she is kind of like an archetype for totality. So what's interesting about her is that in her sovereignty, she's complete. She is a complete essence. She is a complete archetype. And so I think that she's really interesting for us who are looking, like part of our, our journey as witches, as magicians, as magical practitioners is to know ourselves. Yeah. Know thyself, right? Know thyself. And in knowing thyself, we need to learn to integrate all of this different kind of material. And I think Hecate with her torches and with her, dominion over the realms, she's an excellent archetype for sovereignty. So I'm really excited to start with her and to delve more into the psychology.
I love that. Now, speaking of Hecate, she's a very popular goddess right now,
Yeah.
as we know. If we go into the craziness, Instagram and witch talk and all that, it's like she's the goddess of choice these days for new witches and baby witches. Why do you think it is? Because of the point in the world we're at right now. We need this strong feminine. We need the sovereignty. What do you think this is?
Yeah, I think, it's funny. I think we're at a tipping point. And I think it's funny because she was so revered in the ancient world. And then she kind of went underground for a while. She actually gets assimilated into other kinds of worship. And then she makes this reappearance in Shakespeare, and where she's a crone. And then she makes a reappearance in Aleister Crowley's work where she's an evil crone. And so then Robert Graves makes her the crone. And so she has this kind of crone connotation, but that's not her true form. And I feel like as we hit the 21st century and things are progressing so quickly and we're at this kind of tipping point of the old world and the new world that's about to be born, I feel like that she's picked her moment. She's picked her moment to make her presence known, and that she'll continue to be more and more important. And I think it is this idea of sovereignty and totality and standing in your power and navigating this new world. We're going to need her torches.
Yeah.
We're going to need her guidance.
We do. Already, we did it right now. With people in general, women more than ever.
Absolutely. Oh, like, I talk about this a lot in my classes is that we don't, most people don't come to witchcraft without entering the crossroads. You don't enter the crossroads without there being some kind of crisis, right? There's some kind of catalyst moment. And so, like this is how we enter into these things and we need her help. I mean, she certainly has been there for me through incredible crossroads moments. So yeah, I think that's part of her importance. And we're going to be talking in this series about her. And we're going to start with Hecate, and then we're going to be working with other goddesses as well. We're going to go to Lilith, and Lilith, of course, is the ultimate outsider. And then we're going to be talking about the Morrigan, and, she is kind of the Celtic goddess of love and battle, which is something also that I love about these archetypes is that they're always this confluence of like the light and the dark. Like a lot of them are love goddesses and battle goddesses and or they're mothers and battle goddesses. Like they're beneficent, but they're also maleficent. And so I think that this is really important. Um we're also going to be talking about Demeter and the rites of Eleusis, which I think, or Eleusis, however you want to say. I think that has a really interesting kind of concepts of sovereignty for modern times. We're going to be talking about Kybele or Kybele or Kybel, however you want to say it, for the Magnomator, the Mountain Mother. She has another really interesting resonance. We're going to be talking about Bridget or Breedy. What else are we talking about in this? We're going to be talking about Hathor, and I think that's just about it. But yeah, they're all very potent, strong goddesses and who have very convoluted, very interesting, very conflicting kind of mythologies that, but they all stand in their power. And that's what I really am fascinated about them.
So in the workshop, are people going to learn again, learning the archetype, learning the depths of the archetype? Are they going to learn how to put that into their own life, or just by the understanding of it?
So what I hope to do is I hope to be able to navigate kind of the psychology a little bit deeper this time, besides just giving kind of like the relevant myths and the modern day practice. I am going to talk about in pop culture, but we're also going to be doing guided visualizations for each one. And that's something that I absolutely love to do because I think this kind of interior work is really important. I think that's something that doesn't get done enough. And so I'm always excited to do this with people and to not only do you get to learn about them, but you get a chance to go and meet them, and start to navigate your own pathway, your own relationship with them. And I think that it's a great starting point, or it's a great like if it's somebody that you're already working with, then, it's another way to meet, it's another way to facilitate understanding.
That's beautiful. So if somebody is sort of new to this, kind of maybe new to the goddess world or doesn't understand that so well, and it kind of gets overwhelming, you go, what is this? How do you say, okay, we have besides taking her beautiful course, which again, it's live and online, right?
Yeah.
So it's a hybrid. It's live and online that you
Yeah.
can do it. You can come in and out, as you said,
Yeah.
and do all sorts of fun things. But if somebody's going, okay, I need power in my life, or I sovereignty, or how do I get the strength of these women? How do you suggest somebody discovers a deity or a goddess that they really want to work with?
I say just start to, like see which one resonates with you and then start researching. Take a class, start doing reading, start maybe even just doing small little rituals of like, hey, I'd like to get to know you. You get to facilitate your relationship with the gods, like I've had many different discussions about this with people and other magic practitioners because to me, like when I work with the gods, it's more like my extended family. I don't work in obeisance. I don't, like I don't put them on pedestals. These are like my extended family who are there for me, but you get to negotiate your relationship the way that you want to. And so how do you go meet people that you want to meet in the real world? You introduce yourself. Like you say, I'm interested in what you do. Can you tell me more? Can I start to work on a relationship with you? And then it's up to you to start, it's not up to them to say, oh, I choose you. I choose you, like I'm going to make this easy for you. It's up to you to say, I'm more interested in this. And so I'm going to start to facilitate this relationship. I'm going to start to ask questions. I'm going to start to do rituals. I'm going to start to keep, like write down my dreams. I'm going to start to see the patterns. I'm going to, take classes, research more, however you want to do that. But that is up to you. And the more that you start to negotiate those pathways, the more that you begin to learn. And then the more that your practice gets to deepen too.
I love that. And I love how you said the way you get to direct it because I've always been very self led. It's like, I don't want to be under somebody. I work with the deities. I work with the gods and
Exactly.
goddesses. Um, I don't even use the word I'm a devotee to anyone. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm a devotee to me, and I will work with Hecate and Lilith and
Exactly.
all those along the way.
Yeah, and this goes back to sovereignty. Like you are sovereign within yourself. And I think that that's why they're making such a resurgence at this time and not in this kind of like heavy metal fantasy or crone fantasy or evil, like the one we have to take out at the end of the film fantasy.
Yeah.
I think it's more in this kind of sovereign totality way of like standing in your power and you get to negotiate the world and your paths and your practice as you want from an informed kind of way and from an always learning kind of way. But yeah, that you are not a devotee, you are not in obeisance to whatever. Like that's not the relationship. And you get to negotiate and navigate that.
Yeah. And again, that's what we all need right now. So okay, let's go back to again. You just said at the end of the movie, the evil witch, the evil god. What that you have to do. You being an insider in Hollywood, you being a screenwriter, you being not. We've talked about this on the movie, Kevin. What do you think about Hollywood has done to, well, our practice and witchcraft itself? The good, the bad, the ugly.
I always think that The Witch is really interesting zeitgeist for how Hollywood feels at the moment and how Hollywood feels about the rest of the world at the moment. So you see how things go in cycles. And like we've just gone through this cycle where the witch as the outsider is kind of something to emulate and like the ending of like Robert Eggers' The Witch and like where you're just like, yeah, I'd like to be that. Oh, that's cool. And then you have What's the one that we just did for the movie Coven? I just forgot the name of it.
Don't ask me. I'm bad with that. Oh my.
Weapons. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we just did weapons, and it's very interesting to me to see that all of a sudden the witch is the fear of up, and is the actually she takes on the persona of the fear of in the suburbs of like not knowing your neighbor and the fear of the other and the fear of the unknown, and she becomes like the face of evil for that. And I think that's very indicative of what's going on in our culture. I think it's very smartly written. I don't like to see the witch portrayed that way. That's very upsetting for me, but I understand as a screenwriter what they're doing, and it's incredibly clever.
Yeah, it is. And again, we still go to the movies for go to the movies and see what it is. Um,
Yeah, I mean, all of the stuff that I've done has always had an element of witchcraft in it. And that's, like I'm becoming more known for that. But I don't I would love to say that I always portray them in such a way that they're like the powerful thing that you want to emulate, but it's not always necessary.
right.
True.
And it's not always true.
Right.
You know, the humanity or the good and the bad and the unity.
Yeah, but I also like that, if you look at the witch archetype, and this is why I love being called a witch, is because it's the spirit of rebellion. It's the spirit of rebellion against the patriarchy. It's the spirit of rebellion against systems that are faltering and breaking down. And so, as a screenwriter, I mean, as a person, I am all about that. But as a screenwriter, that creates fascinating characters, and that witches get to be complex. And as women and as people, we want to be complex. That's what we are. We are a mixture of so many things. And, I think you and I are of a certain age where we grew up in a different time where it was like we had to be good girls and we had to, like, for me, the way that I grew up, like, I had to be like a muse and I had to be pretty and I had to be like inspirational and I had to like don't talk back and like kind of like be arm candy, but I'm not a muse. I'm a creator.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like very driven and very ferocious. And I had to like, witchcraft is something that really helped me integrate those things and like come to terms and stand in my power and say, I want that. I want that. I'm not going to apologize for that.
Good. I love that. Hear that, people out there? Don't apologize. Just step into it. So I know you can't talk about your new projects coming up, and you can't, and we can't wait to see them. So we'll talk later about how you can follow her website, Scarlett Amaris website, and all that things. But if somebody handed you limitless budget, we want you to make your film, your movie. Do you have that in your head?
Oh,
Do you know
yeah.
what that is?
Absolutely. Well, I do. I mean, I have the television show that I've been developing with Adria Lang for the last 5 years. That's got a lot of people attached to it. That is my dream. That is my dream project. That has been my dream project since day one, and I have put my heart and soul into it. I'm looking at adapting. I've just created my own IP, so I'm working with that right now, and then I'm looking to adapt something else that would be really big. And I can say that the one thing that I have out right now, one of the things is a modern adaptation of an Algernon Blackwood story, and I love weird fiction, and Algernon is just he's my guy. So the fact that this is working is yeah, I just love it.
That is good. Is this a movie? Can you tell us
It's
that?
a movie.
It's a film, yeah. And
Yeah, and that's got witches in it. Yeah. And
How did it become?
some of them are really bad.
Oh, God.
But it's also, it's a movie about sacred rage and female rage and female empowerment. Like there's a lot of interesting, it has a lot of nuance.
Okay, so people are going to go, sacred rage? What? What is sacred
Right.
rage?
Right? What is sacred rage? It's sacred rage is like being able to embody that ferocity of anger and whatever that is in maybe in constructive and not so constructive ways, but in ways that don't hurt yourself or hurt others. But it's allowing yourself to fully inhabit that emotion in a way that helps you integrate and come to terms with it. And so that you're not shoving it aside. You're not going, oh, I don't do that. I'm a good girl. Like, I don't feel like that. That you say, I am angry. I am having a meltdown, and that you go through the whole process of that and that you learn how to deal with that, incorporate that into your life, and that becomes, instead of something that you shy from, it becomes a tool in your arsenal. And so, like, when you're doing spell work, just to bring this back to witchcraft, like there's many times when we embody sacred rage, especially when we're, like doing work for other people that terrible things have been done to. Like you have to embody that spirit of just outrage and rage and whatever. And you can't be afraid of it, and you can't go in halfway. Like you either go in all the way, or don't do it at all.
Right. So that rage, that's very similar to passion, the energy behind passion.
Yeah.
So it's how you direct it and how you're going into what you're.
You need to be able to you need to be able to feel it, know how to navigate through it, whether it be through breath work, through writing, through whatever that is, and not allow it to be one of your drivers. You don't want it to be one of your like psychological drivers. You shove it under the carpet and that it's pointing you and making you do things that aren't necessarily good for you. And so that's why I'm like a proponent of it, because I think that we don't get in touch with it. I don't, it's not something that I'm like, hey, everybody go be angry, but I'm saying, like, be aware of it, know how to navigate it, allow yourself to feel it, and make it as something that you use in your toolbox, not something that pushes you unconsciously.
Right. I believe that'll make you physically sick. When we just eat things that we feel literally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, every which way.
Yeah.
Sick.
And that takes us back to sovereignty. How can we stand in our power? If we're just like, yeah, we're swallowing it all the time.
I think that. Okay, so if somebody's going, wow, I want this stuff. Do you have any or suggestions somebody how to get started? Like, well, we said yes, go research goddesses and stuff. But even again, that internal practice of, do you have any rituals you suggest, or meditations, or spells, or
Yeah, I mean, I would start just by like writing out a spell of like what these things that you are looking for. What's really interesting is that I just thought of this right now. On New Year's, I didn't really do anything for the upcoming year, but I found a whole drawer full of old spells.
oh,
And I had forgotten about them. And just going through them, even as just kind of like, it wasn't so much magically. It was fun to see what worked and didn't work, but it was kind of like a testament to like where I had been and how far I had come. And you don't really when you're navigating all these little steps, you don't see it. But looking at that, I was like, oh wow. Like I've really moved from over here to over here. And I didn't, like because I've been on the journey, I didn't see the process of it. So I would say start even just like with what you're looking for. Are you looking for more sovereignty? Are you looking for more power? What is it that you want? And I think when you can really define what it is that you want and not be apologetic about it and not be like, oh, I want it, but I'm scared of it. When you just say, I want that. I'm going for that. I'm doing that. And that you don't mind when somebody says, because there's going to be all the people going, oh, you can't. Are you sure you want that? Like all the back kind of stuff. And you just go, no, that's it. And I'm gonna like figure out however I'm gonna get there, and I'm gonna like get whatever goddesses and ladies on my side to give me the fortitude and backbone to do it.
that's good. So what do you think gets in our way of doing that? Is it insecurity? Is it just our not enough self-love, enough self-worth?
I think it's all of it.
Yeah.
I think it's all of it. like it's in these are things that you're always working on. It's not like you get to a point and you go, hey, I'm healed. Like nothing's ever gonna hurt me again. But I think like as you start to consciously navigate it, that you start to weed the people out of your life that, like when I started to do it, I had people that I had been pushing really hard in working on things with. And I was like, I don't have to do that anymore. I started to believe in my own talent. I started to not hide behind other people and push their talent because I was afraid of putting myself in the spotlight. Like I just started to make those conscious choices. I also made this decision of I'm not going to keep anybody around me that doesn't celebrate everyone's wins. You
Yeah.
know, like that was something that was really important to me. And like, like I had a friend who uh one of her, I think her uncle had passed away and left her this really fancy truck. Like, I had like a heavy engine. You could hear it coming from 2 blocks away. And it was so cool. It was so cool. She got this. I remember somebody going, she looks silly in that car. Like she should get something smaller that fits her. And I thought, there's a big X over you now. Right. Yeah. Like, you aren't gonna last long. Like that kind of like insidious little takedown behavior. When you start to weed that out, you start to make room and it's not an easy process. I would like to say it's easy, but it's not. But you start to surround yourself with people that you are becoming like, that are secure people and like secure people don't do that. Only insecure people do that. And you want to, you start to want to surround yourself with better. For me also, like I had to navigate with the fact that I love to make money. I love expensive things, and like, and be, and not feel negative about that. No,
Yeah.
and not feel selfish. Oh, you're selfish. Oh, you're self-absorbed. It's like, no, you know what? I love to write. I love to create screenplays. I love mythology. I love to teach. And so I passionately pour myself into these things. And if, if somebody wants to say that I'm selfish, I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I guess I am. And I'm really proud of that.
Right. Right. And we have to get back all that money. So I just taught that to class the other day. It's like we've turned that almighty dollar and it's a judgment call and that's insanity. And
It is.
America just pushes that. The world just pushes that.
Yeah.
So yeah, unapologetic. That's the way you want to go. I had something to go and it's completely left my brain. It came in this window with the painters in the window and it's going out that window with the painters in the window. And I will never come back until we'll figure it out later. But this is amazing. You are amazing, Miss Scarlett. So if people want to follow you, they want to see what you have coming on screen. They want your workshops, your presentations, maybe even some tours and things coming up. So tell people some of the stuff that they can follow you with and where they can get that.
So I'm on most social media. Actually, yeah, I have my website now. I always get that like, oh, it's beautiful. Thank you. So I do have a website, www.scarletamars.com. I'm also on Instagram, Scarlet Mars. I'm on Facebook. I don't really do X so much anymore.
No.
And I'm getting better at TikTok, but I'm like still the world's worst.
I'm
I-
second. We try.
so bad at it. But yeah, I'm usually pretty reachable by any of those places. And yeah, please come follow me. I would love to like see lots more new faces at the workshops. And like I said, this is my passion. I love this stuff. I love teaching this stuff and I love giving these tools to other people because I know how much I only teach stuff that I know has helped me.
Yeah.
And I love for it to help other people. And, my journey has been pretty well documented through you've seen the documentaries and whatever else. And so I think I'm finally at that place where I'm out the other side of a very long, difficult whatever that I'm finally at the place where I get to give these tools back and like give them in this very proactive way and like help other people who are, I mean, we're always at the crossroads, but you come to the crossroads either completely crippled or
Close to it.
close to it. But yeah, like I love the fact that we get to pass these things on now and continue on.
Well, thank you, Scarlett Amaris. This is great. Any words of wisdom for 2026 coming in, or just anything you want to tell everybody besides go follow her, like her, or do all those things? Watch your movies, more coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know, like I think that 2026 is a better year. Last year was a pretty tough year for especially here in LA for everybody in the business. And I hope that we're really standing on the precipice of something new and that we can all benefit from that. But I think in the meantime, when everything's so unstable, like the one thing gift we can give to ourselves is just to love ourselves and be good to ourselves and give rest to ourselves and give stability to ourselves and take a breath. And yeah, that's about all I have.
That's a lot. And that is perfect. You got follow this wise woman. Thank you, Scarlett, for truly bringing your magic. The witching hour, we'll have her back. There's lots to do. We'll all go to a screening together. We'll all do a movie night. We'll do something. Anyway, see you next time.
Thank you.